Well, hi everybody. It looks like we're live, Jane.
Yes, good evening,
Good
everybody.
evening, everybody, in these very interesting and perhaps troubled times. And we're going to have a talk today about all the things that are going on in the world. And we'll have a talk about that. We're going to just welcome everybody first as you come online, because I see coming in, there's a few of the regulars coming in. Nana, for example. So we'll say hi to everybody.
Hi, Nana. Katerina.
I hope you have some good news for the USA. Depends what you mean by good news, yes, possibly. We'll talk about obviously some of those issues that have been are around us at the moment, because there's a lot happening out there at the moment. Matt. Yeah, hi Matt. Yes, we've seen you on lots and lots of times. I think you met Matt and you talked to him.
No, I haven't met him.
You kind of know him offline. Yeah. Good evening, dear Craig and Jane. I've just lost my older brother. Oh dear, sorry to hear that about Nudge Brit. Sorry about that. So it's a wonderful comfort to spend this hour with you. Thank you to Love and Hugs from Denmark. Oh, so sorry to hear that. Yeah, there's been an awful lot of losses lately too, with the COVID and everything. It makes it. Yeah, and all the consequences of that. Sorry to hear that. Hello from Georgia. One of those important swing states, isn't it, in America? Yeah. Marilyn Smith, hi from the UK. That's nice to see you, Matt. Kathy, hello from Georgia. That's another one of these places that's all in the news, because we get all the news over here as well about what's going on in America.
Rich brother. Are you?
Rich, good. We're getting the right sort of clientele now.
Hello from Greece, Laya. Hello from Torquay, Devon.
Oh yeah, tell us where you're coming in from, guys. We'll just sort of say hello to everybody like we do every week, just to let everybody get online, because it takes a little while for it to propagate and everybody to spot it in their inbox. Have a great weekend. Yes, hopefully. Yes. Not much to do though, is there? We're all on lockdown still.
Oh, Stephanie
from the USA.
Oh,
hi there, Stephanie.
It's all happening there, isn't it?
Quite a lot of people join us from the States nowadays. From Switzerland, quite a few from Switzerland too, and from India and all over. It's like becoming a little community.
From windy Cornwall.
All our regulars. I see Domenico gives a little bit of preference to a lot of the regulars.
Howdy
that
from
come on.
Texas,
I think that's nice.
Mary.
Howdy there, partner.
Lou Davis, good morning from Vancouver. Oh, good morning, Lou. It's evening here.
Yeah. Michelle.
Gloria.
Hi, Jane and Craig. Yes,
hi,
nice
Michelle.
To see you. Tell us where you're coming from, folks. And I see lots of people are beginning to join us. You'll notice we're not in the front room today because we haven't got Domenico with us, because we're on lockdown. So he's working with us remotely from another area. We might get Boo, but not Domenico tonight. Good evening to you, Catherine.
Darren, good evening from
Nottingham.
Because they locked down in Nottingham.
Everywhere's locked down. The whole UK, isn't it? They were locked down earlier.
Yvonne, hello from Connecticut,
USA.
Hello, Yvonne.
And Oregon.
Mink from Oregon.
Mink.
Not wink. Wink.
Mink. They must like their coats, I expect.
Karen, hello from
Colorado. The US is in turmoil.
I bet Indeed, it is. I bet it is.
Yeah, our friends and emails and things we've had from friends from America. Gosh, blimey. Never been times like this, has there? Certainly not for a long time in America, since the Wall Street crash and all those type of days. This must be terrible.
John, say hello to
Hi, John. You guys are awesome. Well, that's nice. Yes, thank you. I'm glad someone thinks that. Hello from Virginia, USA.
Carmen.
Ali G. Oh wow, that's good to have someone of such a so well known.
Is that the man that puts these face marks in unusual places?
yeah. Hi from Texas.
Fellow, what a beautiful name. Lorraine Biggs. Hi, Lorraine from
Wareham. That's not far from us, really. Wareham.
Yeah, we like
I like
Wareham,
it down there. Yeah, the Monkey Sanctuary. Hello from Lancashire, UK, from technical support. So I recognise your little cup there. You've been on quite a few times now. You've been following us for ages and ages. We'd have to have an award or something for those that have been here the most, have been following us the most accepted posts.
Charles Chan, hi, Mexico City. Was that 2 o'clock in the morning?
Mexico, you're in, Charles, are you?
1
right.
o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Chinese.
Latvia. See, all over the place. Isn't it an amazing thing the internet is? Yeah. PG Brexit. I wonder what your political views are. Paul from Amazing Hills of Yorkshire. Hi, everyone. Of course, Brexit's going to be one of these things affected by what's happening in America too, in many ways. From Sri Lanka. I've never been there. I'd love to go to Sri Lanka. Beautiful Buddhist temples and beaches and things. Hi, Craig and Jane. I've been looking forward to seeing you from Staffordshire.
Yes, I think it's lovely. We can all connect, especially when this is lockdown.
Yeah, in a funny way. You kind of get to know a lot of the people in a funny sort of way, don't you? Hello from Florida. Denise Simons. Yeah. And of course, there's lots of new people joining us. We also have to watch out for some at the moment too for bots and things joining us, because we've noticed we've been getting hit occasionally by political bots, which is not a bot being sort of like a fake troll like profiles from China and things. Hi from Pennsylvania. Yeah, what a thing the internet is. Hi, Craig Bark from Birmingham. Bark. He'll get on with Agility Bits. Agility Bits got a dog profile.
Monica from Texas. Hi, Monica.
Hi there.
Sue Beck again from Kent. Hi, Sue.
Hello from Ontario, Canada. Vanessa, thanks. You always relax me and calm my soul.
I probably do, but you don't, because you're hectic.
I don't know. Perhaps nagging calms your soul.
Or perhaps stupidness, Craig, for your soul.
From Melbourne, Australia, with the world of Susie Wong. That sounds quite interesting, doesn't it? The world of Susie Wong.
There's a film called Susie Wong.
Is there? I don't know. From Melbourne, Australia. Australia, see, it's really late. We're all around the world, aren't we?
Now there's somebody here from somewhere around Los Angeles.
The mystery woman, Daphne Gold.
Daphne's a woman's name.
Hello from South London. Not as exciting as Mexico and Latvia. Maybe. I don't know. Things go on in London. Hey, good evening from Norway. Norway's always very exciting, isn't it?
Cold, isn't it?
From Anne. Hi, Anne. And from Poland. And Susan from South Australia.
Yes.
Oh, it's good you've all joined us, and welcome to you all, because it's nice that we get so many people now. We get so many following us all the time. So we're going to have a talk tonight about some of the things that's going on and some of the predictions that have been made, for example. So I think I'm going to just start off by sort of saying I predicted that Trump would win, and so perhaps I should be called the fallible psychic, because it doesn't look like he's going to win at the moment, does it? From the looks of the polls and things like that. And it is, from my point, and also I consulted the Bhrigu Samhita on this in India too, and that said he would win as well. So, my gut feeling still with this is, he just can't practically win at the moment. There's just no way he can practically win on the way we're counting votes at the moment there. There's no way if Pennsylvania and things going, it might have already happened by now. I think it's probably likely that Biden's going to make a stab at the presidency. But the internet is rife at the moment with all sorts of speculation. And all sorts of fake news as well, because a lot of it has been discredited. But what do I still feel with my gut feeling? Because I despite the fact there's going to be tons and tons of stuff out there that is going to be shown to be a load of nonsense, because we spotted, even when we're coming on tonight, we spotted a bot trying to attack our chat room, so there's all sorts of things going on in the background politically, and we've got foreign countries interfering. We've got big money interested in changing results, and we do have a danger nowadays. This is one of the reasons I think it would be a terrible thing if we were to all be able to vote for somebody on the internet by pressing a button on a screen, because you imagine what would happen, how that type of information could be so easily compromised. And I worry too, also, because when we've got so many paper votes coming in, in America. I mean, I'm no political expert, but I just know from the way psychology works with people that often people cut the cake according to what they feel is good. For example, I remember, when our daughter was supposed to be chosen to go on the outing, and they would put all the lottery, not lottery tickets, the cloakroom tickets in with the numbers on, and one would be drawn out. We would notice that every time they didn't put her number in because she caused trouble last time. And the same for me when I was a kid and things like that. So people will often think, they have this way of thinking that, you believe in something, and therefore you feel justified in being able to take the moral high ground and make a change because you so strongly believe in something. So it wouldn't surprise me that a lot of people would be very, very tempted if there was a way to interfere in voting. Now, that doesn't mean to say that, it's necessarily that all this stuff you're seeing on the internet and what Trump is saying is necessarily correct. But it wouldn't surprise me. And I get a strong feeling that I just don't feel right about this election. I know Trump is a man who says he does not like losing. He's got that mindset where he cannot lose. So we'll move heaven and high water to get his way. And that's not a good mentality. But at the same time, he has exposed a great deal of he's brought a lot to the surface of a great deal of potential corruption. You see the media 100% against him. I mean, that's a bit dodgy. When you see how strong the media is swung in one direction. The same thing happened here in the UK with Brexit. I mean, the BBC and everything, they were all anti-Brexit, and Brexit's never going to happen. Again, it turned out that a lot of that was propaganda. Even the people doing the polls could be influenced to make it seem that one's in the running higher, and people always vote for the winner. And therefore, if someone's going to win, it's quite handy to have the polls skewered. So there's lots of questions. There's lots of questions around this. I mean, and my gut feeling is there is going to be much, much more with this, because I feel that some of these questions really do need answering. And we're going to see over the next coming months real major shake-up. Well, it's pretty obvious it's going to happen, isn't it? That there's going to be some real major shake-up, I feel, on a scale.
A civil war over it all?
I think there could, not a full civil war, but I did say in my first predictions, right back when Trump was coming into power, I said that in his presidency there would be gunfights on the streets, and that was right at the beginning. Now that's not happened yet, to the minor extent, and I even said that they'd have to call in external forces from somewhere like Canada or something to help quell it. So I don't want to preempt those things by thinking about it even, but I do feel that my gut feeling is there's something not right with all this. I just don't feel, and I'm not being taken in by the media with this, because I think the media, they're suppressing it all. I mean, you see stuff all on the internet about these things. You don't see it on the mainstream news in the UK at all, and you don't see it on the American news. And I know a lot of it's nonsense, because a lot of it is, and there's a lot that's being thrown out of fake news, but it's like they don't even want to investigate this stuff, So my thoughts are that I just don't feel right about it. I just don't feel. What do you think, Jane?
I think we're going to discover an awful lot in the next few months. I'm not really keen on the other one that wants to be president, to be honest. There's something not right around
Sleepy
him.
Joe Biden, he calls him. I would have called him Snake Eyes, actually, because I just don't trust that man's eyes.
Well, I got a very strong feeling that man's a warmonger.
I agree with you entirely.
Strong feeling.
I think there's war there.
And I feel links with China very strong with him.
Yeah, well,
I will say
for
Donald Trump, he does get the job done, because he there was things happening. He stopped the Mexican drug dealers coming into the States, didn't he?
Well, there was, the questionable, and he stopped all the good people coming in as well. But I mean,
he's
building a wall is a question.
He's a businessman, and he gets the job done.
But I think there's a lot more to Biden than meets the eye, actually. He's not.
I just see darkness.
He's taken high moral ground all the time, hasn't he? That's his way as being to be the quiet man, take high moral ground, which is a good way to fight somebody like Trump, not to engage in battle. Actually, he made a big mistake at the beginning in those early presidential debates. I think they both looked like fools. But then to take the moral high ground and it's the way of the peaceful warrior sort of way, let the other person exhaust themselves. That was quite a clever move, but that doesn't mean to say he is on the high moral ground, because I just feel with that man, I don't know. I see lies with
darkness.
Him. Yeah, I do, and I'm not. It don't matter to me really whether the Republicans or the Democrats get in, because it's America, it's not the UK, is it? Although it will affect the UK, I think.
Of course it will. If there's a third world war and someone instigates it, will affect us.
Well, I don't think it'll go to that extent, Jane. Do you? I mean, I'm going to do some proper meditations on this and do some full-on videos on it, because I don't really get it until I've had a really good tune in to it.
Not very often, is it, Craig?
But my gut feelings are pretty poor with this, actually. And I think it's not going to be in Britain's interest in the slightest, because Biden is very, very pro-Europe, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with Europe. But it's not going to be very good for the economics of Britain trying to strike deals. This is why I feel, and I've said this before, that Britain's going to strike deals with Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, and India. I felt as if there's going to be a sort of a collection. There's going to have to look to those markets. And would someone like Biden? I mean, I think not just we need the media brought to book, because I don't think they're giving a very fair commentaries, and we need to bring the internet to book as well, because the problem with the internet is, and we were talking about this a bit earlier, you get a group of people all of the same mindset, and we're all interested in psychic things, most people watching this, so we kind of think the whole world thinks psychically like us, and yet if we were sat on a similar channel for skeptics, James Randi channel or something, we think the whole of the psychic world was a load of scoundrels and conjurers were the best things on sliced bread. We kind of all get influenced by the people around, and this is the danger with the internet. It's great, it brings all the people with the same ideas together, but you kind of get blinkered by the ideas, and this can happen with politics in particular. So the internet is a very dangerous thing, because it doesn't take an awful lot to start manipulating those groups, like foreign forces coming in and influencing it. And wars happen online. Real wars happen online. Look at what's happened to the economies of the world while China still keeps bouncing along. Would Biden deal with that? It worries me, actually. So I'm kind of giving sort of.
It was predicted, I think, from Nostradamus, the yellow pearl will try to take over the world. China.
Yeah, and Churchill said, when the dragon awakes of China, the world will shudder. I remember that was right back after the Second World War, before they'd even begun to get close to these things. So, so it's very, very worrying, I think, the way that we're going to be seeing the future pan out, particularly with I mean, when I was thinking about what Trump did, I mean, okay, the guy on lots and lots of levels is an absolute idiot, on so many things he says. I'm sorry, I upset people with that, but that's true.
I don't
he says a lot of things that are really out of turn. However, look what he's done. He did tremendous foreign policy. North Korea, Saudi Arabia, he sorted out. He sorted out a lot of good things with Britain. He did quite a lot of good work. With so many things that and
I like Trump.
Yeah, but I mean, when we're doing psychic predictions, though, we mustn't let what you feel about someone get in the way. You've got to keep a clear head with it.
Biden's 77 years old. He doesn't strike me a man with lots of energy.
No, he doesn't strike me as a man a lot. See, one of the worries I feel about Biden is, I was predicting that I thought Biden wouldn't stand in the end. I had a feeling he'd get sick or something would happen to him. Now, was I seeing something further ahead there? Could it be that, I mean, there's an awful lot of gun-toting people out there. Could it be that Biden's life could be at risk from the potential assassination attempt? You know, because, you know, God forbid that would happen. But you know, I think there's going to be an awful lot of angry people out there, particularly, and angry, misguided as well. You know, I mean, I think there's justifiable things, because I'm convinced there's something not right with the election. But the problem is, like I say, the way they manipulate people, the way we manipulate each other by sharing in the same groups, it's very easy to get fanatical groups formed. And it's the internet that was behind things like bringing all together around the world the people of ISIS. The internet could equally cause a tremendous conflicts in America, and possibly even, you know, put the American system at risk, you know, storming the White House and things. I mean, I think we've got very difficult times ahead, and we got financially terrible times ahead. How many unemployed are going to come out of this COVID problem? You know, everybody's on furlough at the moment, so everybody's happy. Suddenly you take away all the money that's coming into people, and you've got a lot of people with zero, people losing their homes, losing their jobs, break up of families, because of when the money goes out the door, love goes out the window, they say. You know, all this internal strife and social problems that's going to come from all this borrowing that everybody's doing, that's going to be paid off in the long-term future. We've got a huge debt to pay off, all the world, over a long period of time. And then other people pumping money into things to try to influence things, you know, big money going into political movements, and big money going into internets and marketing and all the other things, and the huge, great global economy that is, I think personally, dangerous, you know. I mean, we get things at the moment where we're going to buy our Christmas presents. Where we're going to buy them from? We're all on lockdown. We're going to buy them from Amazon, you know, another big global company. So, you know, I think we've got a lot of interesting times ahead. I mean, have you got any more views, Jane? Because I'm talking a lot here.
Not really. I'm just listening to you. I think when people start coming in, then we can answer things.
Okay. Well, so we'll take a few questions now then from you guys. Okay.
Right,
we'll take a few questions from you now, guys.
There.
Hint to Domenico. Yeah, I think he fell asleep with all going on like this, you know. But yeah, so, well, anyway, so I think there are troublesome times ahead, and I worry for Biden, and I worry for America generally, actually, and the world at large. You know,
this is going to bring us all closer together, we hope, because this is the year of darkness, isn't it, Craig?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think 2021 is going to be
better
in some ways, because I think we're cracked coronavirus.
Springtime.
But there's an awful lot of fallout. I always worry, because wars tend to come when we have problems with money in the world. You know,
Great Depression.
The Arab Spring came when the money ran out, and people were
right. Yeah.
So what are your questions on the current world situation? So we've put a question up for people if you've got any questions. So ask your questions, you know, not just views. Ask questions. Okay, you can put your view into the question somehow if you like, but if you give us some questions, we'll see what we have to say about some of these world issues. And we don't have to keep entirely to this topic either, because we can move on to talk about all sorts of things. But
Cheeky Lamb's got a question for you, Craig.
Do you think Trump will fight this in court and win?
He's threatening to take it to the Supreme Court, but I think a lot of judges would try to throw it out, don't you?
I don't think it's a question. I don't think it's as simple as answer as that.
No.
Because I think Trump's going to throw everything at this. I don't think he's going to step back from this.
He's a very competitive person.
Yeah, but he doesnn't persist unless he knows he can win. You see, winning is he's almost got a fear of losing, you know. And I feel that I think it's going to be a strong. You see, I think Trump, if he doesn't win, I think he'll stand again, but maybe not even for the Republican Party. I get the feeling he might even stand as an independent, and that would be a tremendous, powerful force. as if he could do that to force the Republicans to take him back on again. Because I think he's going to get a lot of later on. He's going to get a lot of people. You know what people are like. They'll all jump ship as soon as they know how the things have changed. But I think Trump is going to. We're never going to hear the end of Trump. I feel he's going to become a major spokesperson, and he's going to take on a world stage again. You can't take power away from someone. You know, when you've climbed to the top of the tree, you don't want to be back down there with the others again. It's very hard for him. I'm not sure. I said Trump would win, you know, so maybe I've made my mistakes and I just have to accept I've made my mistakes. Or maybe I was getting it right in the first place, because I felt very strong he would win this. So perhaps he's going to do it. I think he could do it. I think he could do it.
There's another one. What is happening with the Epstein case? I think that's on hold to June or July next year, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't been. I don't know with
Obviously,
the Epstein
we're
case.
going to see a lot that's going to come out, and I'm sure the truth always comes out in the end. People think they get away with things, but they don't.
Well, we hope for that. I mean, every time you speak to a lawyer ever, they say, well, we do this because of justice. And a lawyer will say, no, there's no such thing as justice.
Well,
you know,
they say the court's full of principles.
Yeah, that's right. Littered with principles, dead ones. So I don't think we necessarily the truth comes out.
To be honest with you, what these people have done, these young girls, they should be punished and accounted for, because I feel because people's got money, they think they can get away with things, but it's not always so.
See, I kind of feel different to that, because I feel there's such big power going into that they're sweeping it under the carpet.
No, there's
massive power stopping it, because there's so many people with vested interests that could have their careers destroyed.
Well, the Black Book and everything. If you get a lady judge, she'll go in for the kill. Believe you me.
Yeah, I think it would be great.
A lady judge will go in for the kill.
I hope they do.
Well, they will. They've got to investigate everything, and even if there were, shall we say, a certain member of the royal family, there's still got to be question and answerable to it. Why should they?
Will Biden shut us in our houses? My feeling is, if Biden does finally get in, which I think it will, I don't think he's going to actually be in a presidential role till next year, and I still feel that's doubtful.
Doesn't the president in America still could be the president for 4 months, even though?
Yes, I say, and I get the sense that Trump's going to extend it. I get the feeling he won't let go as easily, even with all the law behind him, and I think there'll be such a fear of public unrest that they
don't let darkness in. You've still got a chance.
Certainly, Biden would.
America to let Trump in. You've still got a chance.
I think Biden would definitely do a lockdown. It would be one of the first things he'd do. And the first things, in power, some of the first things he would do would probably repeal all the rules about the wall. He would probably, just like Trump did it at the beginning, and they kind of want to rub Trump's nose in it.
And your taxes go up.
And he would do a lot for the environment. That's a good thing, because that's something that Trump's done really bad on, I personally think. So he'd do an awful lot for the environment. But like I say, I feel it's the things that worry me are the big money forces behind this, because both sides in America, from what I feel, are all governed by money, not by principles. You know, there's a few people with principles, but behind it all, the people with principles can't get their say because of the money behind it. And I have a huge fear of globalism, and I fear that Biden is globalist.
Mm.
Do you think that JFK Jr. is alive? I don't know, really. I don't know. I can't answer that one. I don't know. No, I don't know. We were asked to do a program on American television about JFK, and it would have been interesting, because we were going to do. There's not many people still alive from the assassination times, but we were going to do some sittings for some of the last of the people that knew JFK, to see if we could do like we did you've probably seen on our channel the seances to communicate with The Spirit of Princess Diana. The follow-up with that one was going to be one for JFK, but it never came across in the end because the director died in the end. Do you think there comes a war? Well, I do, says Inge. Well, I think we're
in sort of a virus war now, in a way, aren't we? This virus, the world.
I think we are in a war already, actually.
Yeah, with the virus.
But I think we're in a war that is a clandestine, hidden, secret war. Because, you know, we're kind of all in our bunkers here in the UK at the moment.
We're in our luxury prisons.
Luxury prisons.
Prison cells.
Or in our castles, if you're the Queen.
Yeah.
I'd like you all to stay in your castles, please.
Towers.
You know, so a war now, we always think of wars. First of all, we used to think of wars as tanks, and then we thought of wars in terms of nuclear wars, and then we thought in wars possibly of germ wars. But now we have information wars. I mean, you know, whoever controls the internet controls the lot, really, because your opinions and my opinions and all our opinions ultimately come through the internet, because we don't have many other sources to get it from, and the media is not much help, and the books now nobody's got them. You know, we look at all up on the internet, and some people aren't on the internet, of course, you know, but that's a minority nowadays. All the people that are vocal and have strong opinions come from the internet, and those opinions get there's like everybody pours petrol on each other's ideas until people become more and more inflamed, and we end up with, you know, separations.
I mean,
it doesn't bring us together, it pulls us apart.
Possibly in America there would be a civil war.
Well, like I said, I think there's going to be massive social unrest. That was something that the Nadi or the Brighu Samhita said, or both did, and that's something I feel too. And I think we've had it already with Black Lives Matter, and that I think is just the
cranium loss. Do you think
of the touch paper
was released on purpose? Definitely.
Yes.
And
no doubt about it. I think it was definitely from a lab, and I was saying that right at the beginning. Absolutely from a lab. And I think it was all tied up with.
I don't think it's necessarily bats, what they're saying, neither.
Whatever it's from, it doesn't matter. They were researching it. You know, there weren't bats, for example, in the laboratory. In the markets. That market didn't have bats. You know, and yet it's a bat based thing.
Bats and birds can cause upper respiratory tract infections and things. That's why I think bats.
No, they were researching bats. So why were they researching these bats? You know, why was it a lab that was there to do biological and possibly chemical warfares and things, all sort of done, you know. They always do. They still always do it. Look at the way the Russians kill people with that Ricin. You know, that was a chemical weapon that had been completely banned, and yet the Russians still kept that chemical weapon. They've all got these germ bombs and germ warfare bombs and the rest.
We have too.
Yeah, we probably have too, and America. Everybody's got them, but nobody says. You know, we just put a lid on it just in case the other guys got it. We better keep this. We'll keep these dreadful, death-defying illnesses. These illnesses, and I think the COVID one was actually something you could tag something else on. This is what I've said about it before. You tag something else on, and it can kill everybody. It was a spreading mechanism. You know, it gives you a basic illness, but you could stick more on it to kill everybody or less. And I think it was all linked in with Hong Kong and stopping the riots. I keep talking, Jane. You need to say some more.
You never stop, do you, darling? Casey Kirkman, got any new thoughts or feelings on the English royal family, Andrew in particular? Why is Andrew being put away?
Yeah, go on. You've got a lot of ideas about the royal family because you told me about them.
Well,
what about Meghan? What about our friend Meghan?
What about Meghan?
Meghan Markle, isn't she a wonderful person? What do you think about her and what's going to happen to her in her life? Because I've said quite a few
things. Well, I mean, I don't really have any thoughts on Meghan. I just feel that it's going to end up in tragedy there. I just feel Prince Harry will eventually come back. I did think there would be another child there as well,
Mm.
but I just feel the time has to pass. And if you ask me about Prince Andrew, well, I don't feel you can accuse anybody to actually find they're guilty in that, but it does seem strange that they think it's all going to go away by shutting him away, and he's quite an arrogant person, isn't he?
Yeah, he's blind, isn't he?
And
really?
What's a man of that status doing with young girls? I mean,
allegedly,
what's he doing with young girls? I mean, why is he associating with somebody like this with money? Because he's come from a background, they've got money anyway.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, he's got young daughters as well, and that. And I just feel that all the truth will come out, and we'll all be shot. And there's.
You think it will come out with him, do you?
Because
I've been saying for a long time, well, I agree with you entirely 100% with Meghan Markle, or there's exactly the same things I've said before online as well. So we're kind of in tune with that. I think I think they're going to keep stuffing it under the carpet, but maybe one day it will come out.
Well,
I hope
a lot
it does.
more to come out on that.
The problem is when that comes out, there's going to be so many others. I get the feeling that is an absolute Pandora's box.
Yes, but then they should be accountable for it. If they've done wrong, they've got to face it. The truth always comes out in the end. Murderers think they get away with it. It might take 10 or 5 years, but the truth comes out in the end.
The problem is sometimes it's after they're dead, like with Jimmy Savile.
I don't care if that Prince Andrew's come from the royal family, because my view, you shouldn't be messing around with young girls.
You see, the thing is, if that does really come to its, if the boil is burst on that, the whole royal family's position is going to be in question, isn't it? There's so many people going to be saying, should we have a royal family at all?
Well, I think the Queen does a good job.
Yeah.
And I think there's no other country that's got quite history like we've got in the UK, the royal family. I think she's marvellous at nearly 95.
Yeah.
And so is the Queen Mother.
So talking about clones, because you said about the Queen Mother, Christy has said, what do you think about Obama, Clinton, etc., already being executed and are replaced by clones?
Well, we're clones.
We're clones.
We're clones.
Sorry, Craig and Jane have gone.
We're clones. We've come from the lizard planet.
That Craig was an idiot. He gets it all wrong. I'm the new Craig, and yes. No, sorry, Christy.
It's a bit much,
I don't think.
No,
I don't think we can go there with that. You see, again, this is another type of thing where you probably met other people online that think the same thing, and we all start thinking it, and then actually an idea that is pretty bizarre becomes sort of acceptable to you because so many others sort of agree with you on it. And it's happening. You're not alone. It's happening on all levels with this type of thing. And I think, you get a whole group of people together and things can go from something that has a lot of feasibility to it. Like David Icke does this a lot. Now, there's a lot of very good ideas behind some of it, but then everybody starts putting more and more and more and more and more and more and more until you end up with something completely bonkers. And that's the problem. And then the true core of truth, the real things that are the thing we should be thinking about, get lost because we've over fantasized on top of it. So clarity is very hard to get nowadays, I think, because of this group mind type of thing that we're getting between people. Groups of people on the internet, and we all start talking to each other, and nobody knows what the truth is anymore. I don't think we ever probably did. Actually, we were fed the truth by the media and told what we think we should believe. So whether that's an Illuminati doing that, or whether that's just the nature of the way the world works.
Will Doris disappear? I hope not. I hope he doesn't.
They obviously mean that literally, don't they?
No, I don't think so. I think he's done a jolly good job, because it's not easy. I mean, it could be 10 times worse, couldn't it?
I think Boris Johnson. Many people thought he might become just the man that gives us Brexit and then shuts the door and walks away. And he is a bit of a selfish man, because he does. I think he does what is in his interest ultimately. But in some of the predictions I made before, I said I see Johnson as modelling himself on Winston Churchill and giving Churchillian speeches, I remember saying. And through the coronavirus, he's added opportunity, because we've been kind of in a war. And I think the most important thing that happened to him was him getting coronavirus and having it very seriously. And I think
he has a great understanding of it, doesn't he?
I think it woke him up. He's got an awful lot ahead with Brexit, because we're going to, we're not going to have an easy trade deals with America now, and we're going to have massive world worries about finances and money. I think the European Union is going to be in serious trouble in the next year too, because I mean, all this world debt, they've got a collective debt. All those countries together got a collective debt. I think we should see cave-ins of lots of countries, because we just can't go spending.
Well, how would they like it and say, oh, the Second World War, you owe us money, can we have money back? How would Europe like that?
Yeah, that's one that's been cited a number of times. I think we have to do things in a new way, and whether the world could be radical enough to do it. I mean, for example, if we had everybody was given a wage, the same wage, not just in our countries, but internationally. We all could have a basic wage, everybody, rich and poor, that you could live on. So if the worst came to the worst, you would know you would always get fed. It's a kind of a socialism idea, really. And maybe if everybody could know that they could get health and things like that, the basics were looked after for you, and then it was optional to work. This is a kind of utopian idea that some people have come up with, and is being seriously floated now, this idea of a universal wage. It might be that we have to do something like that, because the world is the whole thing at the moment is being popped, and it might be that debt gets so high that we have to kind of rethink money and rethink property again. And that's going to be a very strange way, because the danger with this type of thing is it breaks competition. And breaks the desire to make something of your life. But who knows? I think we're going to see much more of those ideas floated. Whether you agree with them or not, I don't know. And those things, I think, could be compromised easily if we all had money paid perhaps by cryptocurrency. Go on, Jen, you answer some of these, because I'm talking and talking and talking.
The writing, why would spirit clearly mimic your living loved ones? Sorry, it's off topic.
Oh, this is the Christian thing. They say what's it called? They call it they have a name for it. It's like spirits that copy and pretend to be your loved ones. There's a name in but they're very much a thing that's been pushed by the Christian extremists, saying that mediums are not in touch with the spirit world. They're in touch with demons that pretend to be your loved ones. Okay, so frankly, I think that's as bonkers an idea as I've ever heard, frankly.
So there's no hope for these priests then in the Catholic Church, because all they're looking for demonic forces.
Well, you could say you could apply the exact same thing to everything else. The Holy Spirit is the devil in disguise, or Jesus is a demon tricking us into a wrong path. You could say the same thing back, couldn't you? And they say that there's no such thing as spirit communication. They say that these are all demonic forces that are basically pretending to be your loved ones and tricking.
Where do they get the proof for that?
Familiar spirits, that's what they call it. Familiar spirits, that's it. So if you get people saying that to you, just start questioning it. Basically, why on earth would a demon? Well, demons are there to steal your souls and things, aren't they? But why? And trick you? Nonsense. The spirit world come with messages of love and hope that help people, and in many cases, I've seen people that have given up on religion go back to their religions, including Christianity. So it's bringing converts on different levels and taking on a much more spiritual path. So that's just a load of nonsense by the Christian extremists. Oh, we seem to have some more Christians with us today.
It's the Antichrist, right? Well, I don't think...
I'll go and have a look, Jane.
No, not this present moment.
Not here. Not with
here.
us. No, I think you're right.
We are protected.
No, the Antichrist. So, that assumes that Christ is the only path. you know, and anything antichrist is bad. I think this is another, this is going into Christian stuff, which no, there's no such thing as an antichrist. Christ, and the word Christ is not necessarily, there's a difference between the idea of Christ and Jesus. You want to read The Second Coming of Christ. I'll just get the book. You want to read this book if you're into all this.
Jesus was the
If you want to read about Antichrist and things like this, go out and read Yogananda's book, okay? The Second Coming. Now, this is an absolute beautiful explanation of all some of those mixed up ideas within Christianity. And I think, not to say Christianity's bad, I'm just saying that the take on it is bad very often. And particularly the idea of the Antichrist, he's looked into all of that. So that's The Second Coming of Christ. There's 2 volumes of it that is beautifully illustrated too. No, do that. Look at that before you, and then come back and ask me that question again. And I think you'll find that it's
I don't think so.
Will Rishi Sunak become the new British Prime Minister?
He's very good, though, isn't he?
Oh, he is. Yeah.
He's a lovely man.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
I don't know yet. I haven't looked that far ahead into that. That'll have to be something for a future one, I think. No, I don't know. I don't know yet.
I think he's done a very good job.
Yeah, I think there's some interesting personalities around at the moment. I think there's quite a few people floating around in the background amongst all this chaos. Probably the same in America too. There's some good characters there who I think might come to the fore as things change. So,
anybody there?
Any familiar spirits around? Any antichrists? Jane, looking so pretty.
Thank you.
Please speak more.
Thank you.
Come on, speak.
Well, please keep sending the questions in.
So, answer this one.
Have you weighed in yet about the USA election? It seems we are in a confused mess. Is this on the spiritual side too? I think it's an awakening, definitely. Don't you, Craig? The American election awakening.
I think all these things are an awakening. I mean,
just because somebody goes to church, a president or someone trying to be a president, don't mean they're spiritual, does it?
No. What do we mean by spiritual?
Spiritual is having the love of mankind, nature, animals, being a good human being. It doesn't mean you're going to be walked over. It means that you're in tune with a higher consciousness and with the planet and the universe. And good values.
And aren't we all massively distracted by all this politics and all this stuff that's going on, including even the virus itself? Aren't we all getting a bit distracted by it? Because really, those are all things of the world, aren't they? I mean, we should be thinking about coming back to the spiritual center in ourselves. I mean, we get lost too. We all get lost in it, and we start thinking that's all this and all that about the world. All that is secondary, actually. The only thing that matters about us being here is our path to awakening, every single one of us. And we get lost in the play, we get lost in the game, we get lost in the story. We become the player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage. We're not the player, we're the consciousness behind it. So it's very important that we get back, we see all this stuff and we get all these, even lockdowns and the rest of it. None of it matters. Even if the world blows up and there's civil war, it doesn't ultimately matter. The ultimate thing that matters is us becoming awakened beings. And if we all do that, all problems solved. Every single one of them.
I think people have come closer in the first lockdown because they appreciate things. We noticed how blue the sky was, didn't see the aeroplanes, did we? And how all the birds come in the garden and people looking out for each other, weren't they?
And I was kind of hoping that might happen again. I was looking at the sky today thinking, is it gone bluer yet? No. Not so many cars, but it seems more busy than the last lockdown.
Yeah, Craig.
Natalie saying, if you turn away from the US election, what is going on that we are being diverted from seeing? Now, what do you mean by that, Natalie, do you think? She's talking about...
Well, she means what's going on. There's a lot of things going on that they've not let on about.
Are they? Is this all a cover up of something else? Perhaps
Life is one big cover up, Craig, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is actually.
Life is one. Life is like the theatre. It's like you're on the stage till the curtain comes down. That's
Yeah,
how I
we're all
see
wearing
it.
masks and personas and costumes
Yeah.
and things like that. And that is the ultimate cosmic joke, really. That the fact is that all of this is nothing to do with all these things in the world. Nothing to do with it. I think when we awaken, we see it all as the game, the illusion, you know, and the delusion. You know, we're all lost in it.
Well, the highest thing to have is love, and your health is your wealth, isn't it? As long as you've got a roof over your head, food in your stomach, pay your bills, you're very blessed from the divine.
Certainly from the material side, but then I think we're coming into I think reality is not what we think it is. Reality changes from age to age.
It's an illusion.
Yeah. I mean, in earlier times, mankind's consciousness was different. We saw the world in a different way. We saw it more kind of intuitively. We perhaps saw it more in terms of imagery. We probably didn't have language, so we couldn't communicate in different ways. Our reaction to the world was much more behavioral than it was rational. Then comes the rational mind, and that changes the way we look at the world now. We see it in terms of science and organizing the world, but our relationship with the world would change in centuries to come. As our consciousness expands, we may start to see that we can change the nature of the world. We can change events. We can change things that happen to us, have the city powers that can do incredible things. So, you know, the whole thing is about consciousness. It's not about anything else. It's about consciousness. And I think when we understand that, then we're not so troubled by all these things in the world. You know, they're not troubling. They're secondary. They're not important. You know, whatever's going on out there, we're still sat here, the same people in the same house. Why aren't we just focusing more on our inner spiritual awakening?
Yes.
Would you say that, Jane?
I'd say that's true.
Yeah.
What do you think, Boo?
Yeah. Well, Boo's on a very different level. Look, he's down here, sat down. He's in a very different level.
That first name.
Abhishek, I think.
Abhishek
says, if Biden becomes president, what kind of effect will it have on relationship between the UK, US, Japan, India, Australia, particularly with respect to China?
Careful.
Well, I think it's going to have a massive effect. I mean, you know, in the Nadis, or not the Nadis really, it was the Brinku Samhita that gave it. They said that Trump should do all these yagnas and homas, sort of remedy type things. And I noticed the people in India, I saw a small news piece saying that the people in India were actually doing some of those remedies. You know, they were doing things because they wanted Trump to be in power. He has a huge following there in India. And one of the reasons I think that is partly because India feels massively at threat from China. I mean, I think there's going to be more and more conflict between China and India as time goes on. And, you know, the balance of power was shifting away from China. And so I think I'm still very worried about China as a country, not Russia. The Chinese people. The Chinese Russia. People are different. They're lovely people, but it's a communism with huge power behind it. So that worries me, not the people of China. It worries me, the authorities in China. And I do feel China will cave in. And I think Biden's going to have, it's certainly with the UK. I mean, he has openly, no, I'm talking, you know, ideas, not talking psychically here. But certainly with the UK, he's not pro-UK in the same way that Trump was. He's much more pro-Europe. And I mean, that's not bad. You shouldn't be anti-Europe. But, you know, it looks like they're going to see major swings of powers. And it won't happen all at once, but it will cause a lot of upset in the world, I think. It's going to take a long time till the world heals, and I don't think Biden's going to heal it, and I don't think Trump would heal it, you know, because we've got this massive division in everybody.
We need a woman.
You probably do, actually.
A strong woman like me.
I think, yeah, we'll have to. You be the next Hillary Clinton, and I'll be the next Donald Trump.
I'm
messing it all up for the world.
I just want to be me.
Yeah, I think we do need a bit more of a compassionate view, and the age of the age after Kali Yuga, there's more dominance of the feminine in that age, according to the text. Yeah. So last questions now, guys, and you know, I thank you for all those that have been joining us tonight from the patrons. I sent an email out to you to let you know, but a little bit late, so hopefully you got it. And yeah, and if you like to keep in touch with us, become a patron and help support what we're doing with our work. And you might have seen on the patron site, you know, one of our patrons gave some money for a cow to be given to people in India. It was all a bit difficult with the coronavirus, but we finally got it done. And so we're trying to do a lot of good work with this. So have a look at that and see what we're doing, trying to do behind the scenes. So yeah, and there's a lot more to hopefully happen once we get out of this blessed coronavirus. And Jane's been doing some stuff on her Facebook page too. You can follow us on Twitter and things as it's coming up at the moment, but and Instagram, and a few little live ones Jane's on her personal page, and on our there'll be some more I'll show her how to do it on our Facebook page. So you'll be able to get lots of little bits going on in the background. And of course I'll put most of this
I do
stuff onto the patron pages
in my spiritual room.
Yeah, and you'd have to do them for the patrons too, James, particularly because they all like to be in touch and
I think
hear what you have
especially
to say.
with this lockdown, it's wonderful to connect.
Yeah, actually, last lockdown it was quite fun. Everybody got online, didn't they? And we all kind of connected. But it's, at the moment, it's France, Germany. I think Italy's locked down. Britain's locked down.
Yeah, so
I expect
sad,
America will be locked down.
I feel sorry for all the doctors and nurses and all the people that get the virus.
Yeah,
I really do.
what do you see for Europe? Are those terror attacks going on? Yeah.
Well, there'll be more to come. We're on red alert, as far as I know.
I think they're likely to be more.
They always do it near Christmas, don't they? These,
or
Easter time.
They do.
The
IRA used to do it at Christmas time too, to cause the maximum harm and the maximum horror. And
I can remember when there was a terrorist attack in London when they had all the Queen's guards on the horses riding down the mountain, and they all blew up.
Yeah, I remember the IRA blowing up all those Swiss children by
all the horses.
Yeah.
Oh, it was dreadful.
Yeah, so dreadful, and it looks like they're having a second wind with this. I think there will. I was getting the feeling there will be a lot more terrorist attacks in 2021. Actually, I feel there will be a lot more, and it will be European mainly. And I felt as if, because America's got its own problems, it don't need ISIS. They'll do it for themselves. But I think we're going to get more another look at it. And I think I get the feeling there might be another big attack in Japan for some reason. There was something I was getting about Japan before, that could be a problem like that. That I'm afraid there will always be these type of things in the world, won't there? Our main problems, though, we're ignored. Our main problems are going to be the environment and the wild weather we're going to start to see in the world. I mean, every year, you know, on year upon year, getting worse and worse and worse. That's what we got to start sorting out.
Edgar Casey said all these things as well.
Why are you avoiding USA election debacle? I don't think we are. We've been talked about it.
We've been talking non-stop. Why are you not listening? Why are you not listening?
I mean, yeah. Well, like I said, I think there's a lot of fraud afoot, and I think Trump's will go to court with it, and I think he will make a lot of inways. I do think there will be some stuff that will be properly shown. You know, I mean, I think those election papers should be looked at, but it doesn't mean to say if you've got one or two spoilt ballots, you can call the whole election force. You've got to find them by the thousands in order to get somewhere.
All this, isn't it?
So, but I think he will insist that they're looked at, and I think that will be
times around the world. What's happening, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a weird time, and I think
karmically there's a reason for this.
Will he win in the Supreme Court?
Well, let's wait and see.
I'm not sure. Still, I'm not sure. I think he will win up to a point. I think he's going to win up to a point, and I think. Because what I'm saying is he needs to find something big, and I think he may pull out in one of the states, one of the the voting colleges, whatever they call them, a block of fake papers. Because I think there have been fake papers being put in there, so that would be a win, and that could overturn. Whether Biden's in power by the time he does it, how would he overturn it?
I think as we're talking now, it's all going under investigation.
Yeah. It could be there could be a second election. It could be that if that happens, there would be a second election called. But I mean, that vast amounts of money to do that. Certainly 2024 is going to be interesting because that's, the world would have changed a lot by then. I don't think Biden will see his full presidency through at all. Biden won't see his full premiership. I mean, as presidency is the word I'm looking for. He won't be president for long, I feel. I feel that they're going to take they've got the two, haven't you? The House of Representatives and the Senate. I think is it the Senate? The Republicans, I feel, have got one of the houses and they'll stick to it. And the Republicans will stop most of the legislation going through because they will control their, I can't remember what they call it, the Senate, isn't it? They'll control that big time. And they'll also have control lawmaking facilities as well. So I feel, I don't think Biden's going to find it as easy as Trump did. I mean, Trump found it hard as well. But Trump stormed through. You're going to have to be a stormtrooper to get anything through in the legislation and in the new legislation they want to put through. They will try, but there will be massive resistance. America, I think, will be in many respects put on hold over 2021. You won't be able to put half the legislation you want through. So it's not good. It's not good at all because unfortunately, when you've stirred it all up, like Trump's done, you really need a very strong leader, whatever side, to pull it back together again.
Last one now.
Will Scotland ever see independence, and will we see a united Ireland?
I don't feel Scotland will ever see an independence because they need the UK's money.
I don't see Scotland as being independent as well. Much as I know.
And will we see United Ireland? Never.
No, I don't think we will. In fact, we might see the opposite. I think in a long way ahead, Ireland might actually, not completely, but in some ways, become a bit more of a unified with England. You know, not necessarily as a set engulfed by it, but
Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland totally different.
They are different mindsets. But I think trade will start to flow to such an extent. It'll be a bit like a UK common market with them. I actually think the UK in the long term will become much more merged with America. A long way ahead we're talking here. I think the UK will become like a part of America as well, other countries.
Well, fella, I want to say thank you both, and thank you for doing these readings, even when there are so many ungrateful people in these chats. Well, we just ignore them.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see the chats. You see,
we don't see them because
we only see the messages on the screen. So
our producer filters them.
So we're nice and innocent here. So you can say all sorts of horrible things about me as much as you want, and I won't see them.
You can say lovely things about me.
Thank you, Brendan.
Neil,
thank you, Neil.
Thank you, Neil.
So we're saying bye now gradually. So yeah, nice of you from Bangalore. That's nice.
Lovely. I like Bangalore.
Yeah. I hope the coronavirus is settling down a bit there in India now. I know it was really bad.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all for joining us here tonight, because it's nice that we can do this every week. And I think with all the Trump, if Trump does finally lose, I'm going to have to start
Patrice
eating one of these. Eat the hat. Yeah.
Oh, Patrice, thank you.
Interesting chat. Thank you from Germany. Yes. Thank you, Jade and Jane. Interesting session tonight. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you all have a great weekend too. Whatever you're doing, even if it's going for a walk or watching a movie.
Problem is, we're all stuck watching the television, aren't we? So we end up watching all this stressful stuff. You know, it'd be nice to actually just get out and see some friends and real people. You know,
well, these are real people.
I know, but we're all online. We all want to meet people.
Thank you, Patrice. You have a lovely weekend, all of you.
Yeah.
And remember, love each other. No arguments, no wars.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if we use this period of lockdown as a period to say to yourself, maybe I can do some meditation in this time. Maybe I can do some yoga at home. Maybe I can read some of Craig's wonderful books.
Or maybe I can put a Hoover in his hand.
Oh no, not torture. Many thanks for a wonderful evening. Now morning in India. Okay, doke.
Yeah, I love
very
India.
Interesting conversation. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation, isn't it?
Thank you, fella.
We live in interesting times.
You all have a wonderful weekend too.
Yeah. Thank you from me and my husband.
Thank you.
I just bet you watch us on the telly, don't you? This big screen, I expect. The Writing Hour. Thank you for an interesting stream. Always learn so much and have a great week. And thanks for your questions too, because you've all come up with some interesting questions tonight. And it's nice of you to
thank you, Mary Francis.
Share your ideas with us.
Sounds like a good Irish name.
Yeah. And wouldn't it be nice if we had some
mighty bubbles, Craig?
mighty bubbles? Yeah, well, let's have some mighty bubbles of love and peace and harmony through the world instead of all these horrible things, so the psychics don't need to predict anything,
Well,
because the world ahead is
It's a
peace
beautiful
and love
world,
forever.
Craig, but it's some of the people in it
Yeah.
to spoil it.
Namaste to you too. Have a blessed weekend, Jay and Jane, and everyone
Thank
here.
you, Deanne.
Yeah, well, it's been a nice evening. I've enjoyed it. And
thank you all, and bye
thank you
for
very
now.
much. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.